many of you in this room, and I know a few, more than a few of you because I'm feeling it, and I'm not retired yet, are looking at your retirement savings, and it's like a scary Halloween movie. I just talked to my neighbor. He said, I am so concerned how I'm going to make it through my retirement. He's on the front end of his retirement. He said a third of his retirement savings has dried up under Joe Biden. We can't continue along these lines. And until we can vote that bumbling fool out of the White House, we got to have a governor who's going to stand up for us. And that's why last week we unveiled our plan. It truly is a plan to help fight the inflation that Joe Biden has created by returning $500 million of your hard-earned money back to you. We're going to reduce and get rid of the grocery tax and the rental tax. So if you pay rent, you won't have to pay tax on that. Somebody said, well, this isn't going to help every single Arizona. It's going to help a lot of Arizonans. We're going to send $500 million back into your pockets, and that's just the start. We're going to work every single year to cut taxes. And you know why we're going to do that? Because one of my heroes, Ronald Reagan, did precisely that. When he was handed a terrible economy under Jimmy Carter, and it was thrown into his lap, he said, we're not going to raise taxes. That's what the Democrats want to do, raise taxes. We're going to lower taxes. He took a situation where we had stagflation, it was just a constant increase in inflation that was not going away, and he gave us tax relief, and that is what helped bring down the inflation and really saved us back in the 1980s. So we're going to do that here in Arizona. We're going to lower taxes every single year. If we have a surplus, that means we're taking too much of your money, and we're not going to do that anymore. And then we're going to capitalize on some of the bad leadership we're seeing in these blue states. I know Governor Youngkin, was just talking to him backstage. He's amazing, by the way. I can't wait till you get to meet him. And he was in Oregon last night, and he said the people in these blue states are so ready for a change. But I'll tell you, we can capitalize by the asinine policies that Governor Newsom has put in place in California. Honestly, I mean, yeah, I know you're thinking, oh, California, please no. But a lot of these companies want to flee these blue states, and they want to set up shop in a common sense red state. And they're going to be looking at Arizona, let me tell you that. And we want them to come here. As these companies relocate here, that brings us more revenue, and that means we can lower taxes even more, make it easier for you to keep the hard-earned money that you earn. And so I ask you this. These companies that want to relocate, they're fleeing Illinois, they're fleeing Washington State, Oregon, they're fleeing California, and they want to relocate to a state like Texas or Arizona or Florida. Do you think for 1 minute that Katie Hobbs will be a good ambassador for Arizona and bringing jobs here? Can you imagine her going toe-to-toe with the likes of a Governor Youngkin or a Governor DeSantis as she tries to battle to bring companies here? I mean, they won't even give us a look. They will not even give us a look. We will see California-like policies in Arizona under a Katie Hobbs. We already know that when she was in the Senate, she voted against a border wall. She voted against a virtual border wall. She voted against the border task force that was trying to keep us safe. She even voted against our ability to ask the federal government to recoup some of the costs we pay by having a wide open border. So we got to make sure, obviously, if you're here, you're not voting for her, but we got to make sure our friends don't vote for her. And so I have an ask for you, that you've shown up, and I appreciate that so much. And I know some of you, how many of you have been to one of our events before? Good, we got some repeat friends. Thank you so much. I'm asking that we do something a little more challenging, that we reach out to friends and contacts in our phone, friends who maybe haven't talked to for a while, who are independent, maybe they're Democrat, and maybe 3 years ago you would have never broached politics with them at all because you're like, no way, they're Democrat. I have a feeling our Democrat friends are rethinking their choices right now. Now, you got to be gentle. Don't go in and say, I told you so, because that's not going to work. We need to start making contact with our Democrat friends and just say, hey, I know things aren't going well. I know if I'm struggling, that probably means you're struggling. Have you thought about voting different? Have you thought about looking at some of the policies that Kari Lake and the other Republicans are putting forth to help Arizona? Because I'm a big believer, and if you've heard me on Garrett's show, our policies are good for all Arizonans.